Have you been able to find affordable health care if you need it?
Affordable? No. Healthcare's not affordable in America. Hell no. No, if I want healthcare that I'm paying out of my pocket for, it'd be about $350 a month. I would say that is not affordable.
Right.
No, and that just covers having insurance. Now you still gotta pay a copay
Right.
when you go to the doctor. Yeah, so no. America and their expensive healthcare. Mm-mm.
Well, how would you feel about a universal healthcare
I would
system?
love it. I got sick when I went to Scotland, and and I went to the hospital, and they were like, "Oh no, it's no charge."
So they have a universalized healthcare system over there in Scotland.
Yeah.
And was there, what was your situation? Was it a lot that kind of?
I got like a bladder infection. I went over there, and I was like, "Oh, I need to get antibiotics," and I went there. I had to pay for the medicine, but I didn't have to pay for the doctor visit or anything like that.
Right. Did you notice? I don't know if this was your situation, but did you notice did you have to wait long? Basically, is with the usual.
Yeah, kinda. But I have to wait long when I come here too.
Right.
Like you're gonna have to wait long where there's a population of a lot of people. There's a lot of people in America.
Right.
A lot of sick people. Mainly because they're overweight. A lot of sick people.
And because of the healthcare system.
And because of the healthcare system. So you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait.
Right.
You have to wait for everything. You gotta wait when you go to McDonald's. You gotta wait when you go to Walmart. You gotta wait when you're in line at school going to buy something.
Right.
We don't like to wait here in America. I remember I had a class, what was it, like a marketing class or something, and this girl was like, my grandmother has cancer, and she's like, and all these people that can't afford health care, these minorities, they're going to be able to go to the places that my grandmother's going to, and my grandmother is sick. And I turned around and I was like, well, most likely if they're going to a cancer treatment center, they're sick too.
Right.
So your grandmother is not above the other people that are sick. And she was like, but you don't understand. I was like, well, don't I understand? Sick people are sick people.
Right.
But it's the fact that like the higher class people don't want the diseases from the lower class people, which like this isn't like 1872, where you know the stable boy who gets malaria. Like it's not. We all have the same diseases now.
Right.
It's not, you know. So I don't know. Whatever. It's just silly.
Indeed.
It's really silly.
How has the state of the economy affected you?
To be completely honest, it has not. Well, no. Educationally, it's affected me, because you know Jindal didn't want to take the money or take any kind of like help from the government, so he cut back on education.
So you're saying we didn't have to have budget cuts in higher education, or at least as much as we did?
I don't think we should. No, because I remember when we had the big, if I'm remembering this right, we had the big financial crisis, and like the banks need to be bought out, and the banks needed help,
right,
and all that, and President Obama wanted to give some kind of aid, and we could have taken the aid, and there was some kind of like sunrise clause or sunset clause, however it's stated, that you'll pay back this certain amount of money later on.
Right.
And Jen was like, you know, I don't want to be in debt, but we're going to always be in debt. I don't know. I just think that there was a way to maintain, if cut back, but not cut back as much as he's cutting back on education.
Right.
Because we complain about how far behind we are with other countries, education-wise, and all those other things. If you would just put the money that you're supposed to put into education, I personally think you'd be better off. I don't think you should have taken as big of a cut as he did, but who am I?
So, to what causes would you attribute the state of the economy?
What causes? I don't know. I think our state of economy I think it's been long coming. I think it may be choices that we've made politically. I mean, I just don't know. I don't even know if anyone can pinpoint what the cause of our economy is. I mean,
Is there a single cause?
Right, is there a single cause? What we learned in economics is everything has a cycle. So maybe this was just a cyclical turn of events.
Another Great Depression or something like that.
Yeah, it's just a good thing we don't have people jumping off buildings. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. At least that we know.
Right, right.
Last question I wanted to ask you is, what is you talked about art being like wine and it not being a need but it being a want. So, like, what would you say that the role of art in society is?
I think the role in art in society is the same thing as the great essayists that we had that write, the great essays on, things that have just happened in our time. And we go back and look at a Caravaggio, we go back and look at a Michelangelo, and we can see the events that are going on at that time. And I think that art places a good frozen picture of what's going on in society at that time. It's not a want. I mean, it's not a need, but it's a want. But it's also, I guess it could go back and forth. Because if people come back and look at us at this time, what if we don't have the photographs and we don't have the computers and clearly none of us will be here to say anything. But we have our writings and our drawings and our sculptures to say, we were here and this is what happened.
Right. So it plays a historical role primarily?
I would say so. I would like to think so since I'm making it. Maybe I just have an inflated view of what I think art is. But no, I think it's important. As a people, we like to look at things that are aesthetically pleasing. Like this chair didn't have to have this pattern on it.
Right.
But it does, and it makes it look nice. And it makes people like nice things. It gives them comfort.
What about art as a disruptor of, because the shock.
Like a shock art?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of shock art. I think if shock art is done in a manipulative way, and manipulative I mean as in it's shock art but it has this underlying meaning to it. Like I'm shocked. Like most shock art is just like it has no value in it. Like one guy takes his blood over a course of time and he freezes it into a mold of his head. And it's just shock art. It's just like, oh my God, wow, it's blood. Oh, wow, look what he did with it. But if he was taking this and then saying something towards mankind, like I like that kind of, that still has some kind of underlining meaning of something
Right.
that's important. But just to have like shock art, like I think his name is Damien Hirst. He did a skull of diamonds. And so they asked him, like, why were you inspired to do this? He was like, well, I thought about what I had around me. And I have money around me. So I made a diamond skull.
Wow.
Yeah. So just the pretentiousness of some shock art
Right.
bothers me, but I guess if you think about it, what's some shock art back in the day? I forget what her name is. There's this woman artist from back in the day, and it was something about, I forget what it's called. I don't know. But it was shock art in her time because it was this woman making this bold statement about women's rights.
Right.
Which is a bold statement about women's rights. Yeah, that's cool. Shock people about, like, this is what you're doing to this percentage of the population. Like, shock them into realizing what they're doing wrong.
Right.
But don't just do some gory, fly-by-night stuff. I think if you're going to create something that's worth your time creating, it should be also worth the time of the viewer to look at it, and they should get some kind of positive or some kind of reinforcement from looking at it.
Definitely. So it's like a wake-up call?
It could be a wake-up call, or it could be like you're going through something. Let's say you're going through some kind of change in your life where you don't know what's going on, some kind of confusion in your life, and you want to express that. And so the person that's looking at this, it evokes the feeling, so the person that's looking at this gets this, and they see, oh, Daniel was going through this at this point in time, and it relates to them on some level.
Right.
So I think it should be relative to the viewer in some way, appeasing to the viewer in some way, and also some kind of gratification on your end. Everyone should be gratified from looking at it. Your side, their side,
Definitely.
some kind of satisfaction from looking at it.